Welcome to our weekly maritime vlog. I'm Corey Ransom with International Maritime Security Associates. We have Bennett, #1 producer behind the camera, Mr. B, #1 security person on the floor. This week we are talking about the UN's guiding principles on business and human rights. We've talked on this vlog on a number of past episodes, and we're not going to list them all down below. If you search through, you'll find them. We've talked about human rights at sea, the organization. We've talked about what mariners go through at sea, some of the challenges. We've talked about some of the issues. We've talked about this issue over our last probably 75 plus episodes a number of times. Human rights and the basics of human rights to us at IMSA is extremely important on how we do what we do. It's one of the driving principles that we provide services, but also products and software solutions that are geared towards helping people do their jobs better, helping reduce risk and improve operations. So we thought it would be a good idea to talk about a document that the UN put together a few years ago, which is guiding principles for business and human rights. And it's a pretty short document when it comes to documents that address these different issues. And we'll actually have a link to that document down in the comment section below. So if you want to read it in its full form, you can do that. Specifically, why we decided to talk about this now, because this document came out back in 2011, is we've decided to talk about it now because the organization Human Rights at Sea has put together a list to help businesses, specifically in the maritime industry, address these human rights issues. Now, within this basic document, whether you're talking about the UN document or the document that the Human Rights at Sea organization has put together, there's really three guiding pillars to this document. So it's protect, respect, and remedy. And what the Human Rights at Sea organization has done has put a document together that maritime businesses across the board, whether it's IMSA as a maritime business or a shipping company, a freight forwarder, a port operation, it really doesn't matter the business, that you can look at to put together how you respond to human rights throughout all areas of your business. So what we want to do is just highlight a few parts of this document to kind of give you an idea of where the thinking is. This is also kind of the beginning of discussion for a conference that's coming up at the end of this month. On October 29th, there's going to be a conference called the International Rights Conference, and we'll put a link to that conference below if you're interested in going. There's going to be a number of issues on rights that are going to be talked about, and it's really more from a maritime perspective. This Human Rights Conference is really being driven by the organization Human Rights at Sea. We've talked about those guys. Phenomenal organization. They work just tirelessly to help mariners at sea when there's issues that involve human rights. When mariners get stuck in different parts of the world because they're pretty much abandoned on ships or there's other mariner-related issues, these guys do a phenomenal job at working with multiple government and non-government organizations to help mitigate those situations. So if you're interested to learn more on human rights at sea, we'll also have a link to that organization down below. So let's just look at, the implementation of what they're putting forward as some of these discussion topics for the guiding principles on the human rights in the maritime sector. And these are things that we need to ask ourselves from a business standpoint. Now, there's a number of points here. We're not going to go through every point here on the vlog, but we just wanted to give you guys an idea of some of the discussion topics and just some areas to think about. The first one I think is really important, and this gets back to the original UN document. It's, do we really understand the UN's guiding principles and why their integration and implementation will benefit our business? That's a really key point. We really need to, as a business, understand the three pillars and the guiding points behind why the United Nations has put this document together. And again, this document was put together back in 2011. So we've seen a lot of changes and advances when it comes to human rights around the world, But there's still a long way that we need to go, and specifically in the maritime industry. Unfortunately, within our industry, we do see abuses to human rights almost across every sector. As you look at, we've talked about the commercial fishing industry and issues with that and human trafficking before. We've talked about mariners being abandoned. We've actually seen through the vlogs here, governments engage with us and reach out to us directly about kind of changing and looking at their practices. We highlighted the United Arab Emirates and some of the interesting things that they've done to really almost do a 180-degree change on how they view mariners and human rights at sea. Again, there's always more work to be done, but it's great to see the momentum that's starting to move forward as we start to bring these issues to light and discuss these issues as an industry. Another one that really stood out to me was, do we have a set of core corporate principles and values that uphold what the UN is trying to put forward, and specifically the second pillar, respect, as a matter of agreed company policy? As we look at our business on a day-to-day operation, at IMSA, we want to put forward this is an important topic to us, that we have respect across all sectors of our business, but with all people that we work with, and also within our partner companies that we work with, whether it's here in the United States or around the world. So this is one that's important for us, that we continue to look at as a corporation who we are and what is that culture that we're developing at IMSA, and hopefully other companies can look at that and see that we do walk with integrity. We're not perfect, and we never will be, obviously, because we're humans, but are we putting together the core of the company that really respects everybody across different genders, across different socioeconomic classes, across different countries? It's important for us to be able to do that, to respect each other. And it seems like today in society, in the United States, but almost around the world, that we've lost that. It's okay for us to disagree, but I think through those disagreements, we still need to be respectful to each other. And sometimes through those disagreements, that's how we solve problems. But we always need to make sure that we do it in a respectful manner. Another one that we liked off of this list that stood out is, do we have a developed internal compliance system to educate and proactively identify and limit any potential human rights abuses? That's important for us here at IMSA, but also as we look at companies around the world. What's the mechanisms that we put in place to be able to identify and to deal with these? Like I said, there's a number of other issues on this document, and we'll have that linked in there, and it's a great starting point for the conference and discussion that's going to take place later this month. Hey, thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate all the viewers that we have. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you get notified when we post new comments. Make sure you hit the like button for all the videos that you like. Leave comments down below or connect to us and join the conversation through our social media. We want to hear from you guys, and we want to concentrate and center on topics in the maritime industry that are of interest to you. Also, if there's anything that we can do for you when it comes to maritime risk management, regulatory compliance, or maritime security, or you just have general questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We have a number of phenomenal experts that work with us here at IMSA, because we're always happy to steer you in the right direction.